Hey guys, Peteplayed here and welcome to the Doomslayer build guide. Alright, first things first guys, we need to make our character look like Doom Guy. Obviously, let's make him muscular. Skin tone will be 3, head shape will be wide, hair is 19, hair color is 12, facial hair none, facial hair color obviously none, eyes 11, eye color 12, eyebrows 9, eyebrow color 15, forehead 11, nose 6, ears 1, cheeks 1, mouth 6, teeth 1, jaw 11, chin 2, neck 11, jewelry 1, dermesthetics 19, complexion 1, complexion blemishes 1, scars 13, facial forms 6, facial forms 2, tattoos none, and the rest are none guys. That's our character creation for the Doom Guy. Next up we have our backgrounds, and we have a couple of choices here actually. One is the Beast Hunter and 2 will be Soldier. These two backgrounds would suit the Doom Guy more in terms of lore and his actual background. However, since we're going to be playing a shotgun build to imitate the super shotgun from Doom, we actually want to go with Gangster instead, because it has the shotgun certification, and on top of that it has the boxing. So if you want to punch like Doom Guy, you'll be able to do that as well. Next up is our traits, and right off the bat we are going to be picking Introvert, because we're Doom Guy. We don't need any help from anybody, nor do we need a companion. Second, we'll pick Alien DNA for the alien lore and the increased health. And guys, for the third trait, you can pick whatever you like. You can pick United Colonies Native for the UAC, so you can kind of mimic the UAC from Doom, but it's not necessary. The third trait is up to you. Alright guys, this build is until level 30. Here are the skills that we're going to be using. Our main 4 skills that we need to have at rank 4 are shotgun certification obviously, ballistics, isolation, marksmanship, and weightlifting. Shotgun certification needs to be at rank 4 because we need to have all the damage from the shotgun, since we're going to be maining a shotgun obviously to imitate the super shotgun from Doom, and we also want to have that extra chance to stun targets with the shotgun for a limited time, so we can get those cool montage kill shots. Next up we have our ballistics, and we want to get ballistics because it applies to shotguns as well, and we want to get max damage, as well as rank 4 for the increased weapon range by 30%, since we're going to be maining the shotgun as I mentioned. Since it's also a short range weapon, we want to extend that range as max as possible so we can constantly be using that shotgun. Next up we have the heavy weapons certification, and this one really we're just getting so we can get to tier 3 skills of the combat section, but we're also going to be using a minigun to imitate the minigun from Doom, so we just need rank 1 here. We're not really going to be using the minigun, we're basically just getting the skill to unlock tier 3. Next up we have marksmanship guys. We're getting this skill so we can increase the range of the shotgun, since we're going to be maining it, and the shotgun has by default short range. Also, since we gonna get those crits in, we get to rank 4, and we're not going to be putting a scope on our shotgun in order to do double damage, so max damage. Next up we have targeting for our final skill in the combat section. We're going to be getting rank 2 here for the increased accuracy range without aiming, since we're going to be using the shotgun without aiming most of the time, and we want to get those marks to make the enemies appear easier for us. And that's going to be it for the combat skills guys. Now guys, the social skills are up to your choice. In the first tier we get theft free from our gangster background, and you can choose 2 more one has to be rank 2, being mindful, so we can unlock tier 2 and get to isolation. It doesn't matter which one you pick, it's your preference here. I personally picked scavenging and 2 ranks of commerce, but you can pick anything really here. We just really want to unlock tier 2 and get to isolation. And here's isolation, which we're going to rank to rank 4. We want to get those extra 40% weapon damage and gain 60 damage resistance for each spacesuit and helmet we have equipped when we don't have a companion. Since we're Doom Guy, and I said at the start, we don't need any help, we're solo, so we must take isolation as well. Alright guys, next up is our tech skills, and here we're basically going to get boost pack training, piloting and a targeting control system for our basic maneuvering around space. And of course boost pack training is rank 1 is at least must, so you can jump around in space and when you're traversing the areas of Starfield. You can pick other skills here if you don't want, for example, piloting or targeting control systems or boost pack training, but I don't see how you can play without boost pack training. But get boost pack training, piloting and targeting control systems for basic space gameplay, or at rank 1. Next up we have our physical skill tree, you guys. Here we have 2 skills, boxing, which we got for free because we chose the gangster background, and we have weightlifting at rank 4. Let me explain why. The armor we're going to be using is the Bounty Hunter spacesuit, and as you can see its mass is over 20. That's pretty heavy for a spacesuit, so we want all the carry capacity that we can. That's why we need rank 4, because this is gonna take a toll on us and we need it. So get rank 4 to get those extra 100 kgs and get 50% to stagger. And that's it for the skills, guys. Next up guys is our armor and how to get it. We are going to be using the Bounty Hunter spacesuit armor, and we can get one for free when doing the Mantis side quest. This is the room before you meet Levy, and here it is by the bed. You can get a regular one right here, really easy, really early at the start of the game for free. Next up guys is how to get our helmet, and this one's quite easy. It is from any vendor pretty much, mainly from Amoli Bav over here in the Jemison Mercantile in New Atlantis. She sells it. If she doesn't have it at the time, here it is, the Deep Seeker Space helmet. If she doesn't have it when you go to her, simply reset the vendor stock by sleeping for 48 hours and come back. One thing to note guys, for the spacesuit you can get a legendary version like I did of this Pirate Plunderer over here, which has some pretty sweet stats. So if you want to better your gameplay, do farm up a legendary version of the suit. As I said, you can get it from pirates over here, so random planets. I will show you exactly where I got mine. And finally guys is our booster pack. Now there are many different ones that you can get, however for the aesthetic look I prefer to go with the Bounty Hunter Seek Power Pack. You can buy these or you can find them, they're pretty common. I suggest you go for something with more stats, a rare one or epic one or a legendary one if you can find, but you can swap it out. However, for the purpose of this build and the look of Doom Guy, I prefer this one to match the look of the armor and goes well with the color as well, even though it's 10 mass. Alright guys, next up is our weapons, and of course we're going to be using the Coachman because it resembles the super shotgun to the max. We are going to be using a refined Coachman in this guide, reason being because it has high physical damage. So you may be wondering, why don't I use a modified one such as a epic one, for example this one here, the Crippling Coachman, which is the epic version. It's because its physical damage is lower. While it does have elemental bonuses, the physical damage is lower. So we're going to be using the refined Coachman. You can get a legendary one with better stats, so if you do find one, you can go ahead and use it. Another point here guys is why we're going with the default refined one is because we don't have any weapon upgrade skills unlocked to unlock the higher upgrades. If we did, then we could use the epic one and subsequently a legendary one with more stats, even if the physical damage is lower. But for now, since we don't have the weapon upgrade skills in this build yet, we're going to be using the refined coachman. I'm going to show you which upgrades we're going to use. It's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, we're going to put the default upgrades that we can. Alright guys, we are not actually going to be putting a short barrel on because, as you can see, it increases our inline sight speed at the cost of accuracy and recoil control. We don't want to reduce our accuracy, and most of the time we're not going to be aiming down. So we are not actually going to use this upgrade. We're going to ignore it for now. As for the laser, we are going to be using the laser sight this time because we want to get that increased accuracy. This is actually the only upgrade we're going to be using because we don't have the weapon upgrade skill. Next up are the optic mods, and guys, we're not going to take this one at all because of our rank 4 in marksmanship, because critical hits using a non-automatic ranged weapon without a scope do double the damage, and we want to keep that double damage. So we're not going to put an optic or scope or anything on a shotgun at all. And next up are the muzzle upgrades, guys. We are going to have only one available to us without the weapon upgrade skill, and that is the compensator. However, since this increases stability and hipfire accuracy at the cost of long range accuracy, we don't want that because we want to make our shotgun as effective at long range as possible. So we're going to skip any of these mods. Firstly, because we can only install the compensator, which actually reduces our long range accuracy, and the rest we can only use if we have the weapon upgrade skill. So skip these. Next up we have our secondary weapon, guys, and this is the microgun, our heavy weapon. For this one, we're absolutely going to take every upgrade that we can because we basically just want to better as much as we can since we're not focusing on this weapon. So feel free to get every single upgrade that you can. Alright guys, next we have our 8 items, and we have 3 being the infantry alpha, the heart, and the alien genetic material. The infantry alpha obviously for our rage damage and weapon accuracy since we're using a shotgun. The heart plus for the 20% health for 2 minutes and 200 damage resistance for 2 minutes. And additionally the alien genetic material for 500 damage resistance and 500 energy resistance when going into heavy battles, for example a lot of enemies. And finally guys, we have our Starborn Power, which is going to be the Kratos piece, which pacifies all enemies in an area and disarms them for a duration. I prefer this power because I like to go in a room that has a lot of enemies, disarm them, and have my go at them, just like Doomguy would. Alternatively, you have 4 choices that you can choose from, such as Supernova, Life Force, Reactive Shield, and Parallel Self. My second one would be Supernova, then Parallel Self, Life Force, and finally Reactive Shield, if I would have to choose an alternative. But if you prefer to go with one of the 4 alternatives, it's up to you, and have fun with it. And that's going to be for the build guide, guys. I hope you have fun with it, being Doomguy. Do note a couple things about the build. The build is very reload heavy. You have only 2 rounds in the chamber, so keep in mind you'll be going to be constantly reloading. At first that might get tedious and you might need to get used to it, but believe me, if you're a Doom fan, love using that shotgun, you're gonna get used to it right away, and you're gonna have tons of fun mowing down those Xenos and Space Marines. I'm gonna leave you with some gameplay. Hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching.